Hey everyone, this is Elias from Ref Match Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Chevrolet Traverse. Now this one's an RS. We're also going to take a look at a Z71. So if you're really looking for a baby Tahoe, I think this is it. Let's go ahead and get started. Chevrolet flew us out to Atlanta, where we stayed at a resort called Fox Hall, just right outside of the city. Let me tell you, it was incredibly beautiful. There were so many trees. The views were incredible. And yes, I did want to keep one of those pillows. And as you can see, we had a palette of different RSs to choose from, as well as Z71s. We started off the day by driving the Z71 out on the resort's big field, as well as their more adventurous trail. And I'm going to go ahead and call it an adventure trail because it's not going to be a true rock crawling, off-roading trail. Because after all, the Traverse Z71 is more about adventure than really off-road rock crawling. If you want to tackle those kind of obstacles, that's why Chevy offers things like the Colorado ZR2 family, as well as the Silverado ZR2, and so on. The Traverse Z71 is more for adventure. You can see these unpaved roads that it's easily and comfortably able to tackle, but don't be fooled because it can still take on some inclines as well as some declines like we experienced here. Now, the camera may not show it, but this was actually pretty steep, both going up as well as going down. And thankfully, it was able to tackle that with no issues. And again, you can see here how it was just more of a trail. And believe it or not, this thing rode so smooth. Definitely my favorite part about this was the camera system. You can see here, this was kind of a tight set of trees. And thankfully, though, that camera system helped me guide the Traverse through them without needing necessarily a spotter. Now, the other thing that was great with the Traverse was having their off-road mode, that essentially the one-pedal driving, where when you let off, the brakes are immediately applied to stop the Traverse from moving. This was incredible because I could focus on just having my foot on the gas and not have to worry about braking, because I could just let off the gas and it will automatically brake for you and hold you. But like I said, this place was beautiful. We had some really fun dirt roads. But now let's go ahead and talk about the Traverse itself. We get started on the front, and we can see for this generation, the Traverse has a truck look to it. It really does. And that's kind of what Chevy was going for. They wanted a big, they wanted a bold, they wanted a very aggressive, very muscular design. And I think they definitely accomplished it. The one thing I want to start with is this color, Stardust. This thing is incredible. There's so much depth to it. Here, it's like a brown, it's like a purple, it's just like a bronze in some places, a little bit of pinkish hues to it. Yeah. So in this drive, so I am in a drive with other journalists, this one stood out the most. And we're talking about a super beautiful red, a white color, and a black color that was also available. But yeah, this is probably the color that I would go with. And this is new for the Traverse as well. So let's talk about the front ends. And we're going to talk about the front ends for the RS and for the Z71. So I love this new design. Again, I'm always a fan of that kind of faux headlight kind of thing where this looks like it's the headlight, but it really isn't. This is actually the headlight. But yeah, this kind of eyebrow that we have up here, it looks really nice. Nice LED system. The lights here are really cool as well. Again, it reminds me of the other SUVs in the lineup, like the Trax, like the Trailblazer, that have this kind of double headlight system or double light system in the front. We do have a little bit of opening here, so it does kind of go through. We see it a little bit more with the Z71. We have a big grille. This thing is massive. It has a really cool design. There's a lot of push and pull design going on to there, and it's in black. I love it.
And we do get on the Z71, we get the kind of that black chrome that I'm a huge fan of, especially like in my my Trailblazer. It just looks really, really cool. I love that. We have front-facing camera to give you the whole HD surround system, which is always a big thing with having, you know, a big SUV like this, but love that. And again, with this being the RS, it's a little bit sportier, so we are gonna get a lower kind of design to the spoiler here compared to the Z71. So on the Z71 at the bottom, it is going to be a little bit higher to help with ground clearance, to help with approach angle, that kind of stuff. To, again, you're going off-roading, light off-roading, not rock crawling, but it's gonna help with that, with the skid plates underneath and everything, so it keeps everything protected. This, you take it out on the highway, you know, you wanna be aerodynamic, nice and low design, and it looks so good. I am really loving this front end.
As far as the Z71 front end, you'll see additional things like the Z71 badge itself, but also my favorite, the red tow hooks, which are, yes, functional. These are true functional tow hooks. And we do get a little bit of underbody protection right in there as far as the front, and a little bit further back with the oil pan.
It's a huge, huge upgrade from the previous one, previous Traverse that kind of had more of a bulbous design, I would say. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that. So let's go ahead and see what we have under the hood. We get under the hood and we have the all-new 2.5 liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, and it is cranking out 328 horsepower and 326 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to the 8-speed auto and then to either a front-wheel drive configuration or an all-wheel drive configuration. Now, a couple of things with this. We'll start off with the obvious. Yes, we're losing a V6. Yes, we're gaining a turbo. And yes, you guys are gonna complain about it. But let me tell you, when you take a look at the power curves of the V6 to the inline-4 turbocharge, there is more power to this essentially across the board of the RPM range. So yeah, it's a no-brainer. You know, we like power in our vehicles, and on paper it looks like that and it feels like that as well. It's a pretty responsive little turbo to get that power at basically any range. The other thing as well, there is still kind of a nice little turbo, old school turbocharged kick to it on the high end when you really kind of step on it, and we get that turbo spinning even faster. So it was a cool, fun feel to it. So I am loving that with this Powertrain. The gear ratios were great. It definitely is paired really well with the engine, so there were no issues with, you know, super long, awkwardly spaced out gears, so love that. Now, let's talk about the drivetrain configurations, whether it's front-wheel drive, so obviously that's going to put the power to the front, and then you have the all-wheel drive configurations. Now, there's two different all-wheel drive systems. There's the Z71's all-wheel drive configuration, and then there's the rest of the all-wheel drive configurations. What I mean by that is, with the non-Z71, you get essentially an open rear differential in the back that uses ABS and the brake system to essentially throw the power over to the wheel that is not getting power, again, due to the nature of an open diff. When we're dealing with the Z71, it's a twin clutch system, so it doesn't depend on the brakes to essentially throw the power from one wheel to the other. It uses those clutch systems. And Chevy said that we can throw as much as 100% to a specific wheel. And I felt nothing of it, in the sense that it was smooth at doing it. There wasn't any clunk, there wasn't any awkward feel to the rear diff or anything like that when we took it out, and we were having some fun on some unpaved roads, some little bumps here and there going up and down. That terrain mode is really great at essentially like a one pedal drive, which I really loved. It was easy to navigate the trail that we drove it on. But yeah, honestly, I would probably go with the Z71 because you get that awesome, you know, twin clutch rear diff on it. But overall though, the drivetrain and the new engine, everything just worked really well with this. let's go ahead and take a look at those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have this massive 22-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the 275/45 Continental Cross Contact LX20. Now, a couple of things with this. Yes, we have, with the RS, we have a massive wheel. You know, to have something at this size, a 22-inch wheel, let me just say, it fits. It fits, and that's what we kind of want. We'll see when we get to the side profile, but this thing looks really, really nice. I love this big wheel. Now, on the Z71 though, we do get an 18-inch wheel, so we do get a smaller wheel with a taller tire, with a taller all-terrain tire, which rides really smooth on the road, believe it. You know, it's quiet, even though it's a pretty aggressive tire tread. That was surprising. This takes it to a whole other level as well on the road for more performance on the side of the sporty side of things. So it's definitely, so there's a couple of things. The more aggressive tire, you know, with the lower profile is going to give you that sporty feel where you're going to feel a little bit of the road. We do have a sport tuned suspension with the RS. So the dampening has been essentially tuned for maybe I want to say a stiffer ride, but let's just say a more responsive ride. So we definitely have that, and the brakes have been great. You know, the pedal feels really good on both the Z71 and on the RS. So I was really impressed by that because it's not a small SUV. So we definitely want to make sure that we are able to stop really quickly, but overall though, I love this big wheel. And of course, the fact that it's in black, it just shines so well with the contrast of the Stardust color. So let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. We get to the side and we can see this is big and this is bold. And that's what Chevy wanted with the new Traverse. It has that big, boxy, muscular design, and I like it. It's a good shape to it. So let's take a look at some of the proportions. We can see the big 22-inch wheels really sit nice with this size of an SUV. Now, the other thing with the Z71, again, we have the smaller wheels, but we still have a big tire, so it looks perfect. It looks really good. With this being the RS, we are gonna get the little black framing around the wheel there, and it continues down to the bottom and over to the back. And yeah, we have it same thing with the mirrors, black framing around, which you guys know it's my favorite. And then we have this window back here. I love kind of this design and the flow that we get with that rear design. As far as lines, there's not too many. We don't have too many on the doors, but the hood though, the hood does give you that nice straight line that, like I said, I like it. I like that big boxy feel to it. Now, I do have the key fob in my pocket, so we'll go ahead and see if it has a sensor, and it does not. So you do have a chrome button though. Very similar to my Trailblazer, which I'm not a big fan of. I always forget to press the button, even though it's very clearly chrome there. So you do have to push the button and you're able to open up, and they are big doors, very easy to get into, which is really nice. So I go ahead and close this off, and then I can go ahead and press it and it locks. Now we take a look at the back. Again, we're not gonna have a sensor in the front, so we're definitely not gonna have one in the back, but we do get the chrome button. So we are able to open it up from the back. And again, talking about big door, this has it. And it's because we have 3 rows, which we'll definitely see when we get on the inside. But yeah, that's kind of what you get on the side. Oh yeah, and then you can obviously lock it. That's what you get on the side. So let's go ahead and see what we get in the back. We get to the back, and again, we can see we have big box bold. And it just looks good. And did I mention that this Stardust color looks good? Because it looks spectacular. I love this thing. So let's take a look at some of the rear design. We do have a small little spoiler up here, and that's because we have to hide the rear view mirror camera right up here. And yes, it has it, and yes, it looks good, and that is what I prefer over having the traditional mirror on there. And that's because everyone, when I'm in Texas at home, everyone likes to drive with their high beams on, and believe it or not, that helps out so much to essentially dim and avoid any like really bright light to get reflected off of the rear view mirror. So big fan of that. We do have a good size rear glass here with the wiper to get things cleaned. We have the taillights. These taillights are incredible. They are LED, and like I always said, it's nice to see kind of a transparent on the outside, to see design elements in here, and I really like this. It reminds me of the Ultimate Warrior, you know, the kind of paint, the face mask, face paint. Yeah, it has that feel, and it's really cool. And I like the fact that we have the black framing around the red to really accentuate it, or just make it, essentially framing it and making it brighter. So I do love the fact that we have that.
One thing that disappointed me were the exhaust tips. Now, yes, they look awesome. They're quad exhaust tips and they're squared off, which looks really great. But two things: I wish they were black, and I wish they were functional for the outside ones. Yeah, the outside ones are just mounted. Only the inner ones are actually a true exhaust. So yeah, that's kind of a shame. And don't worry though, I let Chevy know, hey, let's get some black exhaust tips as an option, especially since the RS has so much black trim to it. Now I'm going to go ahead and walk from afar to show you what Chevy calls the walk-up animation for those taillights. So you can see that the lights will illuminate the moment that you are near it with the key fob. And we take a look at the inside, and let me tell you, I was very impressed with the amount of space that this has. Yes, this is a 3-row SUV, and yes, I'm not a big fan of 3-row SUVs because the cargo area usually suffers. But let me tell you, look at my book bag. That bag usually is not able to fit in other SUVs that are 3 rows, but when we put it to the edge of where it normally is on other SUVs, there's a ton of space. Now, you can also put back the seats in the 3rd row with the buttons on the side that are for the RS only. So you do have to have the RS in order to put the seats down. Now, unfortunately, the 2nd row seats were actually all the way back, so I wasn't able to really put them down flat. But the good thing is you have the control of putting the 2nd row down, which you can see there, and technically the other ones would essentially follow. Now, with that being said though, it is a shame that we don't have the option of bringing back the 2nd row. We can only bring back the 3rd row, and thankfully though, we don't have to pull it or anything like that to bring back the 3rd row, unlike other SUVs that are at a premium price. So thankfully we do have it electric to be able to bring it back up. But yeah, I was really impressed with the amount of size and space that we have in the back of the Traverse. We get inside of the Traverse and this thing looks really nice. A lot of modern touches that we get with it. So let's get started on that. On the door, yes, this stands out. So we get this with the RS, and we also get it with the Z71. So it is in that red. It almost looks like a carbon fiber print, but it's really, really nice. I love the way that this looks, and the materials are nice and premium. They feel really good, and we have the controls here. We have the settings for your seating position, and we have obviously the rear hatch opening cup area. So it's a pretty good size. We can see this has a good space, so if you want to put a bigger bottle in there you can. And then we have a little cubby here. We come down to the Bose system, which sounds really, really good. Nice and loud, nice and clear on there. But that's what we get with the door. We get to the seats and we have this nice RS with black and the red stitching on them. They look really nice. We have some adjustability down there. Really easy to find that sweet spot. But yeah, this looks really good. And again, we have nice premium materials on here. No issues with it. We do have a vented and a heated option in this RS, which it's just perfect when, you know, it decides to be 40 degrees in the morning and then 80 degrees by the afternoon. But overall though, I am really impressed with the stitching and the way that these look and feel. We take a look at the steering wheel and this thing is really nice. First of all, the leather is really soft, and thank you Chevy for doing a bold stitching. So we do have red stitching on it because this is the RS. We have that. Thank you. That's what
every manufacturer should be doing. It just adds that little extra flair to it, which is so nice. And with this being the RS, we do get a semi-flat bottom. It's not, they say it's flat, but it's flat-ish. So we do get that. And again, that little nice red RS badge. And you might have probably noticed something. Yes, this has Super Cruise, because in the RS, it is standard on the RS. So if you need that long haul help, or even just stop and go traffic, with the 750,000 miles already mapped for Super Cruise, let's just say every drive is a lot easier with Super Cruise. So loving the fact that we have that, and it drives really, really good. And then we come over here where we have those buttons. We have the Super Cruise, and we have your standard cruise control buttons. On the right hand side, we do get the infotainment adjustments and that kind of stuff. We do have paddle shifters. Really no need for them. Just use your right foot. So yeah, that wasn't really a big problem. But yes, I am going to bring up another controversial issue again, where you notice something. We don't really have a light switch, because it is now on the infotainment system. Yes, we have this, and we are needing to, if we need to manually turn them on, we do it from here. So just be aware, just like the Colorado did, that's what you get with the new system. So they're not on the stock. Only thing that is on the stock is for high beams. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. But that's essentially what you get with the wheel. We take a look at the gauge cluster, and we now have a larger 11-inch diagonal digital gauge cluster. So I do like the way that this looks. It is very clear. It is very bright. So we do have different modes. So we have essentially the basic one, where we can go ahead and then show full map, which looks really, really good. My favorite, this guy as well. We can see who's buckled in, which I'm not right now, but that's because I'm not moving. But it's nice the fact that we have that available, so we can make sure that the kiddos are buckled in. Then the next thing we get is the kind of distance or cruise control parameters as well. And we have obviously your tachometer on the left-hand side there. We go to the next one, simple. We want to keep things simple. That's what you get with this mode. My favorite, this one. It just looks cool. Obviously, you know, more on the tachometer, more on that classic look to it. So really like the way that this looks. And yeah, I think I would stay with that. But again, the big thing is, it is so clear. It is so bright. The resolution is spot on. We get over to the infotainment screen, and we have a big 17.7-inch diagonal screen. And it looks really bright. It looks really sharp. And yeah, the irony of the Traverse being the new kid on the block. It really is. Yeah, I'm a 90s kid. Well, born in the 80s, but 90s is my thing. So we do have obviously a Sirius XM playing through here, but the Bose system sounds really good. We have the built-in Google system. It's just really nice. It's a big screen, but it's out of the way. If you take a look, this is kind of what you see, so to speak. It is out of the way, and it is still big enough to show you everything, but it's also reachable to get to the very corner there. So it's just right. I love this. One thing I don't like, I'm not a fan of this volume knob, because yes, I have my volume here on the steering wheel, but if my passenger wants to help me out and put the volume up, because when that great song comes on, you know, you say, hey, can you crank it up for me? Yeah, they're not going to be able to reach this guy. So that's kind of a shame that it's all the way placed here. We do have the little button to turn it off right up there. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we get the options for that. And then we get, you know, more traction control stuff, camera, quick buttons to kind of these things here. And we have the lane keep help there. But probably my favorite thing is, because I was needing the camera in this one, all you need to do really is push down and hold and bring it up here. So yeah, I just added trailering. So when I trailer the Miata, I can go ahead and press there, do a light test, have my checklist ready, and good to go. So I love the fact that we are able to program those, and it was simple to do so. I figured, okay, maybe hold it down and drag it up. Not like other manufacturers that, you know, the sun has to be in this position, turn around twice, and then maybe it'll work. No, it just works with the most intuitive way to do so. So really impressed with how easy it is to get this system. Again, we'll go back to tunes, and yeah, I'm really impressed. Now, yes, I know we don't have any buttons for like the heated seats, so you are gonna be able to use it here. And you're probably wondering, well, oh god, I'm already seeing the climate things there, it's not gonna be buttons. No, you have that option, but you also get this option. Thank you, Chevy. Thank you. This is what we need. We want to make sure that, yeah, if you're a screen person, a touch screen person, you have that, but you get buttons. That is the biggest thing. We want to have buttons sometimes for simple things like climate systems. Again, we unfortunately don't get them for like the heated seats and that stuff, but it's not as commonly used as we get with these. So loving that. Then we have the wireless charger in this one, and let's see if we can get the chuck test to work. Okay, that was kind of a bad throw, but let me try it again. And is it gonna work? It is. Even at this bad angle, it is working. That is, yeah, so take a look. I'll straighten it out, the camera, but that is the angle that it's at, and it's working. So even if I were to fix it there, it's still gonna work. So that's what we need in a wireless charger. And if you don't wanna go wireless, you have USB-C and USB-A right in there, which I'm loving that it's really sunken in, because now I can keep my cable mess right in here. And we also have a power 12-volt adapter right in there. But I love the sunken in essentially little cubby, because if this were flat, then it would make a mess. So the fact that we have it sunken in really helps. And that is because we have the column shifter. Forgot to mention that. We have this column shifter where you kind of pull it towards you and up, and that is reverse. You pull it towards you and hold it, and that gets neutral. You pull it towards you and down, and you get drive. Push it in, and you get park. And because this was moved here, we now have this space under here, which I can tell you my wife will love to put her purse down there, or if you need to put like a laptop or an iPad, it really is nice to have it and readily available right in there. So loving that. Then we get over to the cup holders, and the cup holders are nice and big. We do have some separation, which is nice for bigger cups, but yeah, no issues there. There isn't really, yeah, we do have the grabs there, so it's those little rubber things, but yeah, there's really no issues with it. I do like the little chrome accent that we get there. We come back a little bit more, and we have a little bit of a cubby, which is nice to always have an additional one other than the armrest, so you can throw your keys in there, your wallet, your whatever you may need to really put in there. So it's nice that we have that. We get over to the armrest, and well, first it is nice and comfortable. Yeah, come on, we were almost there. We do have white stitching instead of the red, but we do get the red on the side. But this feels really good. We open it up, and we have space. We have a good amount of space. So it is pretty on the deep side. So tissue boxes really easily be able to put in there. So loving that we get that with the armrest. Let's go ahead and head to the back and see what we get there. We get to the back, and we have, again, those nice materials. We unfortunately don't get the red. Would have been nice to continue that kind of red trim around here like we did in the front. But very simple areas, no issues with anything out of the ordinary. We don't have a separate cup holder area here, or water bottle holder, so it is just kind of an open, and then we get the nice bow system. Now let's take a look at this. So we do have captain's chair in this, so you can configure it depending on trims. You can either go 7-passenger or 8-passenger with the Traverse. So couple of things. With this being the RS, we do get the standard power folding middle seat, so the captain's chairs. And they say you can still keep your child seat in the captain's chairs to allow other people to get in the back. Now, just make sure it's just a child seat and not your child in the seat. So just be aware of that. And the way that you do that is by pressing this button. So you press it, you hold it, and there you go, and it moves forward. So yeah, you'll still have to be able to put the seat. My biggest thing though is not necessarily having the kid seat. Well, my kid has a booster, so it wouldn't be too bad of a problem. Obviously, you'll see, depending on your seat, how much you can kind of work with. But my biggest thing is it still kept my sweet spot in case I am a rear passenger of the backrest. So I don't have to then fiddle with the position of things. And then when you want to put it back, you just go ahead and push it back and you're set. And again, we have this nice, beautiful material. We do get leather on these. We get the Evil-Tex on the rear because, yeah, the rear, I mean, it's going to be kids in there, and you know, the Evil-Tex is going to be easier to clean. And if you had majority of the time have it folded, you're not dealing with you know, leather that is natural materials and can crack with stretching and that kind of stuff. So yeah, third row is not leather, it is Evil-Tex on the RS. So just be aware of that. But again, just a matter of pushing this button, get there, and we get to the back. And like I said, nice big bench in the back. Again, this is more for kids. So obviously we have this all the way to the back, but you could still get a good amount of leg room right in there. They do have their area for cup holders, and yeah, they have their USB-C connection for power. So really loving that. But yeah, the layout, that's kind of what you get in the back, and I am loving this. Tons and tons of space. The other thing is the new panoramic roof. Yeah, look how beautiful this thing is. And let me just say, Atlanta is beautiful. I love all these green trees, all the scenery. Yeah, this is what you're gonna want when you're out on the open road or you're in different trails with the Z71 and get to enjoy nature and bring it in. But yeah, that's kind of what you get with the interior of the Traverse. So we're taking it out for a drive, and we are going to go ahead and turn on Super Cruise and see how this behaves. So we have it set to 45, and we'll go ahead and bump that up to 55 because that is what the speed limit is here. And let's see how it goes. So look, no hands, no feet, and let's see how good it is in the Traverse. So yeah, it's keeping us in the lane. No issues with that. It's sensing the vehicle in front, so it's keeping the distance. And I say it's doing a pretty good job. Super Cruise has always been really good at just driving for you, making it easy for you to just kind of relax and not get as tired as you would if you're essentially steering the wheel, you know, stop and go traffic, that kind of thing. So yeah, I feel pretty comfortable. The seat is really, really nice. No issues there.
Turn left onto Campbellton Red Wine Road.
Okay, so we do have to turn and we do have to take over. So it's not something where it will turn on its own. Obviously, it's just kind of keeping you in line, so to speak, of your lane. It does have lane change assist, so when we're on the highway, we can have it automatically change.
Turn left onto Campbellton Red Wine Road.
The good thing about this, though, is that we are able to essentially have it drive for us even in a 2-lane road. So we have one lane going and one lane coming, which is not what we used to have before with Super Cruise. Before it was limited to highway, a divided highway. So we're now seeing these options more and more with the Super Cruise. So we're seeing 750,000 miles of road that has been mapped out. Now, as far as performance, let's see. Well, the brake feels good. It's nice and heavy, so the pedal feels good. Let's give it a go and see how that 4-cylinder works. Okay, so it's not the most aggressive. So the start, it did kind of take a little bit to get going, but once you get it going and once it's on boost, it's good. It is very linear in boost, so that is a good thing. It's not going to surprise you. It's not going to kind of, you know, make you lose control essentially, or you're not going to have to deal with torque steer or anything like that. So it is going to give you a good amount of power, especially for things like passing. So mid to high, I would say, performs best at the power delivery. Now, as far as suspension, with this being the Z71, we have a good amount of suspension travel. We do have bigger wheels and tires, or bigger tire really, and it is kind of dampening the road. We do have special dampers on that. It feels really nice. I like the feel of this. You're still gonna feel the road, which is good. You definitely wanna get a little bit, know what the tires are kind of doing with that, but it's pretty impressive on how this is handling. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and switch to drive mode. So we're going from normal to sport, and let's see how it goes in sport. Yeah, so this was definitely a lot more responsive in sport, which is what it should be. I think the first time I probably was in normal mode, or probably even I was probably normal mode. So I do like that it's dampened, so it gives us those behaviors that we want in the different modes. If we don't want it to be super sensitive, we put it in normal mode. If we want it to be extremely sensitive, we do put it in, we put it in that sport mode, and then we have the terrains, like those different modes for whatever options you may be, whatever conditions you may be driving in. But this feels smooth. This feels smooth, and yeah, we just hit a pretty big bump there, and it took it. So I am definitely surprised with this, and let's see how it does with dropping gears. Maybe if we just... Oh, there we feel, yeah, we kind of felt a surge of power a little bit after. The other thing as well is the suspension is going to be a little bit softer in the Z71. So when I do accelerate, we do feel the body go back. When we brake, we do feel the body lean a little bit forward, but it's not bad. It's a very rewarding feel to this Z71 package. So I am really impressed, and I'm loving the way that this feels. But overall, this is a great package. I am, really surprised at how much I love this thing. It has a big size, but not as big as a Tahoe, because you may not want that much of a Tahoe. It doesn't drive like a truck, like some Tahoes can. So you still have that comfort of a unibody SUV, but you have the size of a big vehicle, almost kind of like a Tahoe. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. And yeah, if you're wanting to get, adventures, that's what the Z71 package is going to give you. You're going to be able to take it out on adventures. I mean, look at this greenery. It just looks incredible. It just, I just want to open up the sunroof and just kind of open up that big window and just let all the light in and just enjoy the nature. If you're wanting more for like performance and just cool sportiness, that's when you get the RS. The RS is gonna give you that look. It's gonna give you the big wheels. It's gonna give you the black finishes. It's gonna give you, it's gonna give you that prestige that you get with the RS, that flat bottom, that racing kind of feel to it. So you get that. So there's really a Traverse for everyone. And what would I pick? I don't know. I'm liking this. I like the fact that we do have a softer suspension to dampen a lot of the roads, especially like if you live in areas where the roads aren't the smoothest. Even if you don't go out on adventures, this is nice because, again, it's just going to be a softer, smoother ride. And this may want me to go out and have adventures. Well, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the 2024 Chevrolet Traverse. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.